Hi guys and welcome back. Well, here I'm coming in with some red and I'm spraying and just going over the yellow there and kind of darkening. Now I'm going to be doing this as a process over and over to kind of fix some areas that I had made. So it's just it's a layering process of darkening it and then putting some lighter areas and darkening it again. So you'll have to bear with me here. I'm trying to fix that on that side where I had really messed it up there. So it looks a little red right now, but it will begin to look better. So again, Cretex illustration paint is what I'm using, and it's just a layering process and scratching out and layering and erasing, and you know the gist, the drill, or how we want to say. And I'm sorry that I cut off the bottom of this picture a little bit here. It's skewed just a little, and I didn't realize I had the bottom of the water kind of cut off there, but in the next video it will not be like that, so hopefully you'll be able to see it a little better. I know that with anything else, especially if you're just starting out, it's a process, and you know, this is a good example of how to fix a mistake. You know, and a lot of people, they just think, oh no, I gotta throw it away, it messed up, but you don't have to. There's ways of fixing things. I think I sprayed a little bit of a red violet with just a few drops of white in it to lighten it up a little bit, to kind of give it like a hue tint off of the fire there, and it kind of helps to hide that little cupping on the left hand side there where I had boo-booed, but and then it will allow me to come back in and spray some blue in the water without it turning green. Here I'm laying in some more red, and it's gonna begin to look really red. And I know that it probably looks more red on the screen, but on the picture itself, it won't look so drastic once I take the stencil off, where you'll be able to see the dove, and I begin to work on that. It will begin to look more realistic. I hope everybody's doing good. Here I have a dowel, and just putting in some little touches of flicker of light there with my dowel, and that's just a old paintbrush that I sharpened the end of it and a pencil sharpener. And it's easy to kind of scratch out some highlights this way. And I had forgotten to put my gloves on, which I hardly never do, but I don't like to touch the panel, and for some reason I didn't put my gloves on, so I'm really hoping when I clear this it won't mess with it very much. It's only about 11/14 size panel, so I'm hoping that it won't, and I'm going to try to protect it with a different kind of acrylic clear before I spray automotive on it. And I'm not up close at this point when I'm spraying with the airbrush. I'm kind of back 3 inches, probably 3 to 4, maybe even further than that. I'm not really close up on the panel because I want the soft look. I don't want it to be so stark and tight there. There, I'm finally fixing that side where it looked like it cupped it instead of. Well, here I have some white, and I'm just coming in and giving it some little highlights here and there, licks of flame. I don't know why I'm doing it with white instead of scratching it out. I think I just didn't want that striking. You know, sometimes when you erase or you use the dowel to take out paint, it just looks so startling that you got to come back in and put some paint over top of it to make it blend down a little bit. So here I just kind of just sprayed the white instead of doing that. I'm going back over the places there in the middle where I had erased out with the eraser. Here I'm pretty close. The closer you are, the thinner the line you can get, but you have to have your pressure PSI turned down pretty low, maybe even 15 at this point. Few highlights here and there. Again, this will be gone back over with yellow or orange. And I put some highlights now in the water down below, so you may not see some of it where it goes around and ripples through the feathers of the dove. You may not see that part because I see that it's cut off. Wet, rainy day here in Indiana. So I got my place set for my realism class down in South Carolina. Can't wait to go in October. I've got it paid for and looking forward to going. First airbrush class I've ever taken. Most of the stuff I learned on my own, and I went way back when they had the Airbrush Action magazine. It was pretty popular. I have tons of those old ones, and that's how I learned, by reading those magazines. And then by just before the internet, we couldn't watch the YouTube videos or anything like that, so I just learned that way. And then of course when we got the internet, I started watching little videos and got on chat rooms and stuff with other airbrush artists, and they sometimes would tell you their tricks and sometimes not, just depended on who you talk to. But now I think artists are pretty good to help each other because, we all love doing what we do. Here's where I really sprayed too heavy, and I got some of the blue mixed with the yellow, and it turned greenish tint there down on the bottom. But that can be fixed easily, so if that ever happens to you, don't panic. Again, it's mostly on that left hand corner there where I had boo-booed before. A little bit of red over top of it takes that, or orange, I'm sorry, takes that tint away. I think at this point I'm just about ready to peel off the stencil so I can, yes, start working on the dove. And I'm not gonna let you watch me pull off the whole stencil because it's flipping all over the place. So I'll just come back to you when it's all off, and then you'll see it from there. There we go. Striking white. So I'm going to erase some of my pencil lines because they're too dark, and it's always better that you have a fine line, very faint line, and not so drastically sharp because it's hard to cover that pencil mark. Here I'm spraying some blue, a light bluish gray, and it looks more blue on the camera. And then I'm realizing that there's some yellow in the wings, so I'm like, nah, that's the wrong color to use. So I come back in and I erase some of that out, but I come back in with a purplish color that I have mixed. So it's like a light, a really light violet with maybe a drop of black, and like 20 drops of white, just something really light colored. But here I start laying in the blue first, and before I realize that, wait, this isn't exactly going to be the right color that I need, and I end up going over it. So like I said, if you mess up, there's always a way to fix it. And sometimes if you just have to erase all of it out, erase it all out. Or I think at this point, since the dove's not got too much on it, I probably could have took even thinner and went over and just removed it all. But I just decided that texture, different colors here and there, there's nothing wrong with that. Kind of adds to the piece. So I used my eraser to get some highlights in that, and there I was spraying in some of the purple or the lavender, and it got a little bit too dark there, so I'm going to erase bits and pieces of that out underneath the beak there. And then I didn't want it so dark right there either, so I'm erasing a little bit in that wing because that's where highlights of yellow is going to go. And I didn't want the yellow to mix with that blue that I had sprayed over it. So I'm erasing a lot of the blue there. And I had sprayed the purplish color over that blue, so hopefully it doesn't change colors when I spray it. There's ways to make it not look so cut out. But I think this is about the end of this tutorial, so I just want to thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, share it to someone else so that we can get this art channel going. I'm new to this whole process of YouTube, so I'm looking forward to seeing all of you, hearing from all of you, and see how I can help you. Bye bye.